Dratini, Dragonair, and Dragonite. Dratini is based on classical serpentine dragons of East Asian mythology. In Chinese and Japanese tradition, long, snake-like dragons are associated with water, clouds, and celestial power. Dratini's long, smooth, blue body directly mirrors these depictions. Another possible influence is the Loch Ness Monster, as Dratini lives in deep waters, is elusive, and rarely seen. Dragonair evolves this concept further by adding a jewel on its neck and small wing-like fins on its head. These design elements may connect to multiple myths. The Amugi, a Korean proto-dragon said to become a true dragon after 1,000 years if it catches a falling jewel. The tale of the bamboo cutter, where a dragon possesses a magical jewel, and even the caduceus staff of Hermes, symbolized by winged serpents. The jewel and wings emphasize Dragonair's mystical, transitional state before becoming a true dragon. Dragonite takes a different direction, shifting from slender Eastern designs to a bulky, Western-style dragon. Its rounded body, small wings, and friendly expression resemble depictions of European fairy dragons, or even children's illustrations like Puff the Magic Dragon. Despite its friendly look, Dragonite is said to be the guardian of the sea, a role reflected in its Japanese name, which translates to ocean dragon. This combination of protective lore and Western dragon imagery cements its place as one of the first fully realized dragon types in Pokémon. Bagon, Shelgon, and Salamence. Bagon represents the early stage of a creature longing to become a dragon. Its Pokédex entries describe its obsession with flying, leaping from cliffs in an attempt to soar. Design-wise, Bagon resembles a small dinosaur, possibly a young Pachycephalosaurus with its round, hard skull. This emphasis on persistence and determination sets up its evolutionary journey. Shelgon serves as the transitional phase, encased in a protective shell. This stage parallels the idea of metamorphosis seen in insects, where a larva pupates before emerging into a radically different form. In Shelgon's case, the shell is a cocoon-like chamber preparing it to transform into a fully realized dragon. Salamence completes this transformation as a classic fire-breathing Western dragon. Its design reflects myths of destructive, winged reptiles that can lay waste to villages when enraged. It may also borrow from the mythical salamander, a creature in folklore believed to live in fire. Salamence's amphibian-like body shape and external gill-like structures tie it loosely to salamander traits, while its wings and aggressive temperament emphasize dragon imagery. Its mega-evolution amplifies this ferocity, echoing myths of uncontrollable dragons that embody raw destruction. Dino, Svilus, and Hydreigon. Dino begins as a small, blind, dark dragon. Its design is rooted in the idea of dangerous, untamed creatures that lash out at anything they cannot see. This aggressive behavior is reinforced by its dark typing, symbolizing hostility and unpredictability. Svilus evolves into a two-headed dragon, referencing the idea of multi-headed beasts that fight even amongst themselves. The two heads constantly bicker and compete for food, echoing myths where multi-headed creatures act in chaotic, self-destructive ways. Hydreigon completes the line as a three-headed dragon, inspired directly by the hydra of classical mythology. Multi-headed dragons appear across cultures, including the Greek Lernaean hydra, the Japanese Yamata no Orochi, and the Slavic Zmei Gorenik. Hydreigon mirrors these myths as a relentless, village-destroying dragon, constantly consuming and attacking. Its dark typing emphasizes its role as a destructive antagonist rather than a neutral guardian. The gradual increase in heads from 1 to 2 to 3 ties the evolutionary line directly to mythical hydras, reinforcing its place as one of the most dangerous dragon types in Pokémon. Noibat and Wyvern. Noibat begins as a small, bat-like Pokémon whose most distinctive feature is its enormous ears. These reflect real-world bats that use echolocation, a natural system of sound-based navigation. At this stage, the design is closer to a standard mammal than to a dragon, making its early dragon typing less visually obvious. Wyvern, however, evolves into a creature inspired by the wyvern, a legendary dragon variant distinguished by wings that serve as its forelimbs. This design choice parallels bats, whose wings are also modified forelimbs. Wyvern's speaker-like ears amplify the bat connection, symbolizing its mastery of sound waves and echolocation. Additional inspiration may come from gargoyles, architectural figures often depicted as draconic or bat-like guardians. Wyvern's sharp features, wing structure, and nocturnal theme align with gargoyle imagery, reinforcing its intimidating design. By blending wyvern anatomy with bat traits, Wyvern becomes a hybrid between mythological dragon and real-world creature, justifying its flying/dragon typing. Gumi, Sliggoo, and Gudra. Gumi is introduced as a small, slug-like creature. At first glance, it doesn't resemble a dragon, but its slimy, soft-bodied design draws from unusual sources. One is the blue dragon nudibranch, a sea slug with elongated draconic features. Another possible influence is the prehistoric Wiwexia, a soft-bodied mollusk with protective scales, hinting at early draconic traits. Sliggoo develops into a slug-dragon hybrid that appears to carry shell-like structures. This design may be inspired by mythical creatures such as the Lu Karkal, a legendary beast described as a serpent and mollusk combined, or the Shusabura, a yokai said to be a dragon that inhabits a shell. Its half-shelled slimy body makes it a transitional stage between a weak mollusk and a powerful dragon. Gudra finalizes the line as a full dragon, albeit one with a gooey, soft texture. Its design recalls depictions of dragons in medieval manuscripts, where knights often battled snails instead of dragons. These illustrations may have been symbolic humor, contrasting the mighty image of a dragon with the lowly snail. Gudra embodies this reversal, a slimy creature evolving into a dragon of immense strength. Its playful and gentle personality contrasts with traditional ferocity, but its dragon typing emphasizes the transformation from weak to mighty. Axew, Fracture, and Haxorus. Axew begins as a small, tusked creature inspired by prehistoric reptiles and early dinosaurs. Its tusks give it a distinctive identity, suggesting a mix between real-world dicynodonts, herbivorous reptiles with tusk-like teeth, and pickaxe tools, reflecting its habit of gnawing through hard surfaces. Fracture builds on this design, enlarging the tusks into axe-like blades. Its appearance suggests a more armored, aggressive dinosaur, with scale patterns resembling weaponized plating. The tusks now resemble full battle axes, visually connecting the design to themes of weaponry and combat. Haxorus completes the evolution as a large, intimidating dragon with axe-shaped tusks designed for destructive power. Its body resembles theropod dinosaurs, combined with heavy armor plating. While not directly modeled on a specific mythological dragon, Haxorus embodies the idea of a magical dinosaur elevated into dragon status. Its aggressive demeanor, large claws, and sharp tusks reinforce the draconic role of a destructive, dominant predator. The line overall illustrates a clear design theme, a reptilian base combined with weapon motifs, gradually evolving into a dragon defined by raw strength and battle imagery. Tyrant and Tyrantrum. Tyrant is directly modeled after a juvenile Tyrannosaurus rex, one of the most famous predatory dinosaurs. Its dragon typing comes not from mythical elements, but from the way dinosaurs are often linked to dragons in folklore. In many cultures, fossilized dinosaur bones were historically interpreted as evidence of dragons, blending paleontology with mythology. When Tyrant evolves, it becomes Tyrantrum, a massive, fully developed Tyrant King Pokémon. Its design emphasizes dominance, with a large jaw and a crown-like crest around its head, visually symbolizing royalty and rulership. Pokédex entries reinforce this, describing Tyrantrum as the invincible ruler of ancient times. This kingly, destructive nature ties directly into dragon myth. Dragons in legend often serve as rulers of their domains, whether seas, skies, or lands. By making Tyrantrum both a dinosaur and a tyrant king, its dragon typing reflects the mythological elevation of prehistoric predators into dragon-like figures of authority and fear. Gible, Gabite, and Garchomp. Gible begins as a small shark-like dragon that dwells in caves and tunnels. Its design blends features of land-dwelling sharks with small dinosaur traits. The concept resembles the bullet or land shark from fantasy role-playing games, a creature that burrows through the ground like a predator of both land and sea. Gabite develops a sleeker, more predatory look, with sharper claws and wing-like protrusions. Its design leans more into dinosaur influences while retaining shark-like characteristics. Garchomp finalizes the line as a powerful fusion of dragon, dinosaur, and shark elements. Its head resembles a hammerhead shark, while its body structure mirrors theropod dinosaurs such as Carcharodontosaurus, whose name translates to shark-toothed lizard. This duality, shark and lizard, directly ties into the dragon archetype, a hybrid predator that transcends natural categories. In addition, Garchomp is renowned for its speed and destructive capabilities, described in the Pokédex as flying faster than sound. These exaggerated, almost supernatural qualities align with the mythological perception of dragons as unstoppable forces, reinforcing its role as one of the most fearsome dragon types. Jangmo-o, Hakamo-o, and Kamo-o. Jangmo-o begins as a small, armored lizard-like Pokémon covered in protective scales. Its design is tied to its core theme, combat and honor. The scales resemble shields, hinting at its role as a disciplined, battle-focused creature. Hakamo-o evolves this concept by gaining more pronounced armor plating and adopting traits inspired by Polynesian culture. Its behavior includes performing ritualistic dances before battle, which parallel the haka, a ceremonial war dance used in various Polynesian traditions to intimidate opponents and display strength. Kamo-o completes the evolution with full-body armor and a more fearsome appearance. It draws inspiration from both theropod dinosaurs and the Mo-o of Hawaiian mythology, shape-shifting lizard-like dragons tied to protection and natural power. The name Kamo-o itself references the Komodo dragon, reinforcing its lizard-dragon identity. As a dragon/fighting type, Kamo-o symbolizes the merging of myth and martial discipline. Its scaly armor and ritualistic combat style differentiate it from chaotic or destructive dragons, framing it instead as a warrior dragon that embodies control, respect, and power. Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina. Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina are legendary Pokémon tied to the fundamental forces of reality, time, space, and antimatter. Their immense roles in the Pokémon universe justify the dragon typing, as dragons are often depicted in myth as beings of supreme, otherworldly power. Dialga's design draws partly from sauropod dinosaurs, such as Camarasaurus, with added metallic, armored traits. Its blue coloration and diamond chestplate symbolize its mastery over time. Mythologically, dragons have often been guardians of cosmic treasures and forces, and Dialga embodies this through its dominion over temporal flow. Palkia has features of theropod dinosaurs, possibly oviraptors, but its body also incorporates alien-like anatomy. Its pink and pearl motifs emphasize its link to space. In some of the game's data, its wings are described as whiskers, reinforcing its unusual biology. The blending of alien and draconic imagery reflects the idea of a cosmic dragon ruling over dimensions beyond human comprehension. Giratina is the most overtly draconic of the three, with long serpentine proportions, 6 legs, and a menacing presence. Its altered form resembles an amphiptere, a type of wingless European dragon with elongated bodies. Its origin forme draws from centipedes and serpents, linking it to themes of the underworld. Mythologically, Giratina resembles apocalyptic dragons or beasts, echoing imagery from the Book of Revelation. As ruler of the distortion world, its ghost typing further enhances its role as a dark, otherworldly dragon. Together, the trio embodies the mythological idea of dragons as cosmic architects, beings tied to the deepest structures of existence, ruling forces far beyond human reach. Reshiram, Zekrom, and Kyurem. These 3 legendary Pokémon are described as fragments of the original dragon, a single entity that split apart due to conflict. Their shared dragon typing reflects this origin, tying them to myths of primordial dragons embodying balance and creation. Reshiram represents truth and is designed with features of Eastern dragons, including a feathery, almost celestial body. Its white color symbolizes purity and illumination, reinforced by its fire typing, which represents passion and clarity. Its flowing tail resembles a turbine, visually linking to its ability to generate powerful flames. Zekrom represents ideals and contrasts Reshiram through a darker, mechanical design. Its body is armored and jet black, with a tail resembling an electricity generator. Zekrom's dragon/electric typing symbolizes energy, ambition, and the pursuit of vision, qualities tied to thunder and storms in mythology. Kyurem embodies emptiness and the absence of balance between truth and ideals. Its icy body represents lifelessness and incompleteness. Design-wise, Kyurem resembles a frozen husk of a dragon, fractured and incomplete compared to its counterparts. Its association with ice connects it to legends where dragons are beings of harsh elements, capable of destroying civilizations. When combined into white Kyurem or black Kyurem, the dragon regains partial wholeness by merging with either Reshiram or Zekrom. This directly reflects the mythological motif of a primordial dragon split apart and partially reconstituted, with each form embodying different universal forces. Rayquaza. Rayquaza is a serpentine dragon that rules the skies, directly embodying the archetype of a celestial dragon. Its long, flowing body resembles Chinese dragons, which are depicted as guardians of the heavens and symbols of weather and fortune. One of its clearest mythological parallels is the Aztec god Quetzalcoatl, a feathered serpent who separated the earth from the sky and was associated with air and creation. Rayquaza fulfills a similar role in Pokémon lore, living high in the ozone layer and maintaining balance between Kyogre and Groudon, the rulers of sea and land. Another influence is the Hebrew myth of Ziz, the giant bird that governs the sky, paired with Behemoth and Leviathan. Together, these three creatures parallel the Hoenn legendaries, Groudon as land, Kyogre as sea, and Rayquaza as sky. Additional design connections point to the Lindworm of Norse legend, a wingless serpent-like dragon with runic inscriptions on its body. Rayquaza's Mega Evolution highlights this connection as glowing patterns flare across its form, symbolizing overwhelming draconic power. By combining global myths, Chinese celestial dragons, Mesoamerican serpents, Hebrew cosmology, and Norse lindworms, Rayquaza becomes a synthesis of sky-ruling dragons, embodying ultimate aerial dominance and divine authority. Zygarde. Zygarde represents order and balance within the Pokémon ecosystem, fitting the mythological role of a guardian dragon tied to the natural world. Its three main forms, 10%, 50%, and complete, reflect its cellular composition, emphasizing adaptability and multiplicity. Its design draws from Jörmungandr, the world serpent of Norse mythology, destined to encircle the earth and trigger Ragnarok. The serpentine qualities are most visible in Zygarde's 50% form, linking it to draconic archetypes of massive, world-spanning snakes. Zygarde also parallels Nidhogr, a dragon that gnaws at the roots of Yggdrasil, the World Tree, while being part of a wider mythological ecosystem involving stags and eagles. This ties into Zygarde's role as a regulator and protector of balance. Beyond Norse myths, Zygarde's complete form bears resemblance to Nagas of Hindu and Buddhist traditions, multi-headed serpent beings associated with protection and divine power. The way its wings resemble multiple snake heads reinforces this imagery. Thematically, Zygarde serves as a counterpart to Rayquaza. Where Rayquaza rules the skies, Zygarde governs the ground and ecosystems. Its dragon typing emphasizes its status as an elemental force of nature, embodying the role of a draconic overseer whose power ensures harmony across all living things. Ultra Necrozma. Necrozma normally appears as a psychic-type Pokémon, but when it absorbs Solgaleo or Lunala and transforms into Ultra Necrozma, it gains the dragon typing. This transformation reflects the mythological idea that dragons embody overwhelming cosmic power, far beyond ordinary beings. Ultra Necrozma's body is radiant and four-winged, resembling a wyvern, where the forelimbs are merged with wings. Its glowing, crystalline design evokes the imagery of divine or celestial dragons, beings of pure light tied to world-ending power. In the cultural context of Alola, which draws from Hawaiian mythology, Ultra Necrozma may parallel Kihawahin, a dragon goddess sometimes depicted as radiant and golden, and the Mo'o, shape-shifting lizard-like dragons capable of immense power. These connections reinforce the idea of a shining, world-altering dragon deity. Thematically, Ultra Necrozma aligns with apocalyptic dragons across global myths, creatures whose appearance signals the end of the world. Its dragon typing is not based on its default form, but emerges when it reaches its ultimate state, highlighting how draconic power often represents transcendence into a higher, more dangerous plane of existence. Latios and Latias. Latios and Latias are the twin Eon Pokémon, sharing a dragon/psychic typing. Their designs differ from traditional dragons, instead resembling streamlined, jet-like creatures. Despite their unusual appearance, their classification as dragons ties into their supernatural traits rather than their physical form. Both are depicted as highly intelligent, empathetic beings, capable of understanding human speech and even disguising themselves as humans. These abilities connect them to eons in Gnostic philosophy, immaterial beings created in male-female pairs to represent divine concepts. Their duality as a male and female pair mirrors this inspiration. Latios emphasizes speed and protection, while Latias emphasizes compassion and emotional connection. Their aerodynamic designs also hint at dragonflies, creatures sometimes referred to as sand dragons in folklore, reinforcing the subtle draconic link. Though less overtly dragon-like than others, their classification reflects their mystical origins, their psychic powers, and their symbolic pairing. As beings that transcend ordinary creatures, their dragon typing underlines their connection to mythological concepts of spiritual dragons, rather than purely physical ones. Kingdra and Dragalge. Kingdra evolves from Seadra when traded with a dragon scale, shifting from a simple seahorse design to a sea dragon. Its dragon typing draws directly from Japanese mythology, where seahorses and sea dragons are considered children of dragons. According to legend, if such creatures live long enough, often 100 years, they transform into true dragons, linking Kingdra's design to this cultural belief. Dragalge is modeled after a leafy sea dragon, a relative of the seahorse. Its dragon typing follows the same reasoning as Kingdra. In Japanese myth, sea dragons are juvenile forms of greater draconic beings. Dragalge's poison typing reflects its resemblance to toxic seaweed and its tendency to blend into underwater foliage as camouflage. Both Pokemon highlight how dragon identity in Pokemon does not always rely on appearance alone. Instead, cultural myth provides the explanation. In Japan, these sea creatures are inherently connected to dragon lore, which justifies their classification even when they resemble marine animals more than classical dragons. Druddigon. Druddigon is a standalone dragon-type Pokemon with a design rooted in Western dragon imagery. Its rough, angular body and bright red and blue coloration emphasize a primal, almost monstrous appearance. Unlike many elegant or celestial dragons, Druddigon embodies the rugged, brutal side of dragon mythology. Its behavior reinforces this image. It lives in caves and becomes immobile when exposed to cold, echoing European myths where dragons lurk in hidden lairs, hoarding treasures or guarding dark places. Its jagged features also resemble gargoyles and trolls, stone-like creatures associated with caves, which may explain its immobility in low temperatures. Visually, Druddigon resembles the Rakagama, a lizard with red and blue coloration. Combined with its cave-dwelling habits and dragon-like features, the design bridges real-world reptilian biology with the folkloric idea of feral, cave-dwelling dragons. Although it lacks evolutionary stages or legendary status, Druddigon's dragon typing is justified through its direct representation of a raw, Western-style dragon, brutish, territorial, and elemental in nature. Drampa. Drampa is a dragon/normal type Pokemon with a design that emphasizes wisdom and age rather than ferocity. Its appearance resembles a fluffy, cloud-like dragon with the face of an elderly figure, subverting expectations of dragons as solely destructive beings. A primary inspiration is Julong, a dragon of Chinese mythology described as a red, torch-eyed serpent with the face of an old man. Julong was said to control day and night simply by opening and closing its eyes, and to influence the wind with its breath. Drampa mirrors this imagery through its old man face and gentle, airy design. Drampa also reflects the tradition of dragons as protectors, rather than threats. In contrast to violent dragons like Hydreigon or Salamence, Drampa is benevolent, often portrayed as defending children or weaker beings. Its normal typing highlights this gentleness, distinguishing it from the mystical or elemental qualities emphasized in other dragons. By drawing from mythological sources that depict dragons as wise, elderly beings rather than predators, Drampa broadens the concept of dragon-type Pokémon to include guardianship, kindness, and calm power. Guzzlord. Guzzlord is a massive, gluttonous creature with an insatiable appetite. Its design fuses elements of a kaiju-style monster, a trash compactor, and a western dragon. The multiple mouths and clawed arms make it resemble demonic depictions of dragons, which in many myths symbolize greed and destruction. Its constant consumption mirrors the mythological idea of dragons as hoarders or devourers, often representing unchecked appetite. The black coloration and dark typing emphasize this destructive gluttony, framing Guzzlord as a cosmic predator whose draconic power is tied to endless consumption. Naganadel. Naganadel evolves from Poipole and has the appearance of a wasp-like creature, but with a long neck and angular wings that evoke draconic traits. The Naga, in its name, refers to Nagas, serpent beings from Hindu and Buddhist mythology often considered dragon-like in power and appearance. Although insectoid in base form, Naganedel's silhouette, long body, horn-like crest, and sharp wings resembles a stylized space dragon. Its poison typing matches its wasp origins, while the dragon typing emphasizes its elevated status as more than just an insect, tying it into extraterrestrial dragon imagery. Together, these two ultra beasts reinterpret the dragon type through the lens of alien and monstrous designs, showing how dragon identity in Pokémon can extend into otherworldly or unnatural realms. Turtonator. Turtonator is a fire/dragon Pokémon based on the Mata turtle, a spiky, flat freshwater turtle. Its volcanic shell and explosive abilities explain the fire typing, but its dragon classification is less clear. Unlike dinosaurs or serpentine designs, it lacks strong draconic traits. Instead, the typing may reference its role as a destructive volcanic beast, tying it loosely to myths of dragons associated with volcanic eruptions and poisonous fumes. However, its reliance on fire and poison themes makes its dragon typing one of the weaker justifications among dragon types. Altaria. Altaria is a dragon/flying type Pokémon that evolves from the small bird Swablu. At first glance, its design, a blue bird with fluffy, cloud-like wings, appears more aligned with fairy or flying types than dragon. However, its classification draws from subtle cultural references. Altaria's Mega Evolution strengthens this theme. As Mega Altaria, it becomes dragon/fairy, representing a celestial, divine, bird-dragon hybrid. This reflects myths where dragons are not always terrifying monsters, but can also be benevolent, cloud-like beings tied to the heavens. While its outward design looks like a soft, clouded bird, Altaria's dragon typing rests on linguistic, mythological, and astronomical references rather than overt dragon features, making it one of the most abstract examples of a dragon type.